Aloha! You're looking at some photographs that were taken on July 31st, 2009 by John Golner, the office manager for State Representative Kimberly Marcos Pine, who represents the Eva Beach area, House District 43. This tour, put on by Haseko of the Kauhale Area Preserve, is roughly 22 acres in size in proximity to White Plains Beach there. And enjoy the video taken by John.
You get the idea of generational visitation and also change in the landscape. Visiting from the inland, the wetland areas to here, gathering your salt, your fishing, traveling back and forth. These were the people of the land. These were the guys, the backbone upon which, or the backs upon which those above them lived, yeah? Because the people, the Hoa'aina, supported and worked the land to support their ali'i who were next to the gods. And so this gives you an idea of what it was like to live in traditional times and to see the scattered areas. You can imagine we're talking about doing small pu'e, mound areas where sweet potatoes, gourds, simple dryland crops that sustained the people so that you can, it's not just to look at the stones, you know, but to also try to make it a living history component, to tell the story, to walk them through this place safely as a sort of a guided by signage, perhaps a small little brochure, and through the interpretive programs where someone's out actually leading someone. So you go step by step from one place. This is interpreted as an agricultural site. Here's where the ponds are, and you then envision the sort of the salt-making opportunities. Go down to the Makai section around the pond, nearer the fishery areas, and there are a few pieces that have been traditional artifacts, right, that have been gathered from the site and from other locations here that will actually become available to viewing and then to even replicating so that people can hands-on hold and touch and get a sense of what it was like to live on the land here.
That there is a wall face, and this is the interior of a small enclosure that's attached to a larger enclosure over here. This larger enclosure has more substantial walls than the smaller one. All the rocks that you see outside of this have fallen off of the top of the wall. So the restoration that we have in mind for this really involves just picking up the rocks inside of the enclosure and putting them back on top to bring the walls to their original height. Most places, that's going to add probably this much to the height of the wall, perhaps a little bit less. So in no case are you going to have a very tall wall here. All the walls are going to be about mid-thigh level. That's the enclosure need when they're brought to their full height. This is a type of structure like this. It didn't take a family a long time to build something like this. The labor investment isn't huge. You don't need a huge labor investment to make a very comfortable living place. Typically, something like this, the interior would have been open on this, and you see a lot of rocks have fallen into the center of this enclosure. People were not living on top of rocks that are going like this. They were living on a nice flat surface, and they would have put down a series of mats, okay? Some coarse mats on the bottom, some fine mats on the top, to make a very comfortable living platform. And so what you get is something nice and comfortable, soft, to sit on inside during the times that you'd be inside. It's my sense that the folks who were down here weren't down here to be inside. They were down here so that they could go fish in the ocean, and they would have spent most of their time outside. But when they wanted to get away from the sun, these would have had a small holly built on top to make some shade and to get out of the elements, the occasional rain that does come to the everplane, to get out of that rain. And it's a place to sleep at night because it's covered. But not like our houses today, I don't think, where we come back and we do everything in our house. There was a lot of outdoor living back in the day, and so that we shouldn't look at the size of these structures, or the fact that the walls around them are fairly rudimentary, to think that the folks who were here somehow didn't know how to live on the land. think they knew very well how to live on the land, live a very comfortable life without investing a lot of labor in the hauling those days. Old version of Kauhale. One of the things that Kepa came up with, you see how he could speak in a spellbinding way. He's done that to us over and over through this project. And one of his visions is to have the keiki come here and plant sweet potato. Right now it's hard to imagine sweet potato living because we're in the dry season. But in the wet season, that is a possibility here. And we think that it probably went on in the traditional Hawaiian path. And Kepa can do this much better, but he's busy right now, so I'm going to do my best with it. When you plant the sweet potato in a mound out here, the mound has very little soil actually in it. It's mostly just rocks, but the potato will grow. And as it grows, it takes up more and more space inside the mound, and the mound becomes pregnant. And you can actually see it move if you come back every week. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger until at some point it's pregnant enough and you can pull your sweet potato out. And the idea is to have the school kids be able to see that process happen, be able to make those observations, to know the mound that they planted in and see it at its one size, and then at the end of the semester see it up high, and know that the sweet potato that they planted is growing in there. Again, it's something about the rhythm of the life, how long it takes from planting to harvesting in an environment like this, which is very unstable. It might not work in some dry winters. A couple winters ago where we had 40 days of rain in a row, it would definitely work. But those kinds of things I think are important to learn, because it's not like going to Safeway where you know you're going to get what you want, or you think you're going to get what you want. If it wasn't done right and you didn't have some help from nature, in a place like this, it isn't going to work. And I think that's another important lesson, is that to make do in a place like this, you have to hedge your bet. You have to make sure that you're working the fields upland very well, and that this down here, in terms of growing plants, is a supplement to that, and that you have the fish offshore. So the idea then, just to recap, is to use the pathways through here so that the kids and others can see these sites and can use them as a model for hands-on activities that will take place next to the Kauhale Cultural Foundation's meeting place, in the classroom kind of a setting over there, with the DOE folks called place-based education.